I plan on doing a couple months or 3 months ago, we had a guy in and he displayed a lot of stuff. And he was good. He had all about design, and that's basically what I'm gonna try and do. Different things you can do besides bowls, you know. Bowls are nice and I appreciate it. And when the first guy who made a bowl, he was great. He made a bowl. The second bowl was, how thin can I make it? Probably the third bowl was, how can I make it and that people can't tell how I made it? How do I put a bottom on it? They don't know how it was held. So that's what a lot of this is. Things that I try to do that some of it's for design, some of it's just so people say, how the hell did you make that? And I used to tell everybody. And I always, and then later in life I think, I shouldn't have told them. You know, it's like a musician telling you how he did the trick. Everybody, oh yeah, I should do that now. If he don't tell you, the guy's great. If he tells you, oh yeah, that's easy. So, but now, with my old age and everything, I'm forgetting how I did it. So, I don't know how I did this, and I usually tell everything, how I did everything, and so some of it I forgot how I did it. But I tried to bring enough different things. I could have filled 3 tables. Like I said, if I haven't sold it, my daughter stashes it somewhere or gives it away. And I quit selling stuff when the pandemic hit. I quit doing all of that. So I just, a lot of this is pretty old. But most of it's been on these tables before. And I explained how to make it. I did a few seminars here on how went just step by step how I did it on the lathe. Made 1 or 2 of them. And I've never seen anybody bring one back. Kind of, if you show me how you did something on the lathe, next month I might bring that one back. You know, I don't need plans or any of that. It's just the idea, okay, and then I'll figure it out from there. So if it's a really nice idea, I'll definitely make one. Now some of this stuff is outdated. I like these, the magnet inside with the paper clips.
Oh.
Well, everybody's got a desktop computer. I used to make desks. We don't do that anymore either. And then clocks for your desk. Well, they're not selling either. But this is just, you put some plywood together, you turn a cylinder and slice it in half and you got 2 of them. By the clock insert. And then, so it's easy and it's a nice looker, I think. I'll pass this stuff around. Not that it, but you get a better idea on it. This is, what do you do when you're old and you get 50 different medicines you're taking every day? You got all these bottles at the end of the week. You cut the stops off them and you can make a threaded insert, glue the lid in, and then they go back together. It's not a great design, but I did use a top bottle. I did a cupcake, showed everybody how to make them, box. And these look a little better when they're new, because it shines a little more. This is an old one. You can show them around. But you glue the paper back on, and the trick to that is you make a negative shape. So you put the paper in there, put a little glue on the wood, and then stick it in there, just like you're sticking it back in the oven. And put a little weight on it for an hour, and then the paper will be stuck to the top. But if you do it right, you rub a little Bondo on top, and paint it brown, little lacquer on top of that. The cherries you'd make out of anything. You just stick a board in the end of the lathe and spin a cherry. Put a little leg on it and screw and glue that in. They're easy to make. This one here, we've seen some big time turner. He took a board, put it on the lathe, and he cut the inside shape. And with a big piece of the board sticking out each one. And he handed them out to the people and said, here, make something out of it. We were in the shop. Okay, so this is what I did. I took it over to the bandsaw, and I cut wings on it. And it came out really good. He kind of wanted it back. But there again, it was, here's another demonstrator. We had a guy from Australia, Richard Raffin, you heard of him?
Yeah, I watch him a lot now on
That's
YouTube.
his,
To me, he's one of the best turners I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's
And-
quick.
Oh, yeah. Most guys have tools when they're turning. He's magic wands. Just like that. He goes. But he made this pickup stick thing. And each one, they're all rosewood. Each one's different. And what it is you lay them down because they have different balancing points and things. You press it and it goes a different direction than you figured. It turns it into a more interesting game.
So did he turn all those sticks? Did he turn all those sticks?
No,
You did.
You could.
he showed me his and I did it. Like I said, all I gotta do is see the idea. I go from there.
what do they got, what kind of sticks are they called?
Pickup sticks.
No, I think he's got a different name for them.
Oh, yeah, he's a foreigner.
Chunkin or?
It's Australian.
But even this is turned. Yeah. So you can,
This is Mondo on top, you said?
what? Yeah. Well, it's just like putting peanut butter on
Yeah.
something. All right, you can pass these around. If you can find two the same, you can keep them.
Different brand. That was Pennsylvania. So different brand.
But they're all turned on the lathe. And it's probably a good weekend or so doing that one. That's a pretty good one to do. All right, here's other than off-center turning, a wine stopper. Totally impractical, but
It
it's
looks
fun.
nice on the bar.
Yeah, that's
It
right.
might help to hold it toward the end of the
Yeah,
evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, but basically on this one, I have a steel 1/2-inch bar, I put it in my chuck, and I drill a hole, stick the block of wood on. And then I put the center over here, and you turn the first one. Then you back off a little bit, and you punch it over a little, bring your center back, and turn the second one. Then you punch it the other way. Don't be thinking or drawing anything. You just hit it back and forth and turn it. You end up with the more extreme you get, the bigger the offset is. That's a fun thing to do on the lathe. Now a lot of these it's simple wood, cheap wood, whatever I can find. I don't know if you ever been in bars, they'll have this on the bars, and you have some of the old neighborhoods, throw the dice out. They're leather cups usually. Well, there's no leather in this. This is just a painted finish and some string. You drew a series of holes and stick them with a nail. You stick the thread into the glue, and, you make up a leather piece.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, I do too. And took pictures.
And like I say, a lot of these I'm doing just to screw with people here, so you can figure out how the hell did they do it. Here's one, you turn it, you put it in water for a month, take it out, reverse it so the bark's on the inside.
I got a bridge to sell you.
I'm working here, I'm trying to sell it.
Trying to create stuff.
Here's one of my favorites. It's because I don't know where I got it from. I think I just made this up. Usually I'll see it somewhere, somebody will do it, and then I'll take a part of that or something, and it wasn't originally my idea, or I'll see somebody else had done it, and I'll redo it. But this one is all mine. You put I had about 1.5 inch piece of wood, thick, square, maybe a foot by a foot, and I put it on the lathe, and then I turned this screw going around, like this. Then I took it off the lathe, cut it in half, and the 2 halves, and brought it back together like this. So I had grooves on both sides. So then I took a saw, put some lines in, some sanding, and matched up the edge. Drilled a hole in it and put this top on. I think I hollowed it out. Maybe I flipped it over on the other side and put a channel in the back. But I always liked it. And then you do it in different colors, you get different looks. A little bit Chinese-y looking, but it's a nice, and it don't have to need expensive wood to do it.
St. Clair's pickups.
Yeah.
He was selling a lot.
All right, this is the old, this is the tree branch on, turning a tree branch on the lathe. So you basically have it on the lathe like this. It's like cutting a propeller. So you're cutting it like, first thing you do is you put it on this way, and you get this shape, and you put a foot on the bottom. Then you flip it around and stick it in a chuck, and then you just hollow out the inside. And you're all done. And it's a little tricky to sand. You gotta take it off the lathe to sand it. But this is just a regular branch. And I put a little color and some bark on the edge. The bark was pretty much gone. But this is a branch. You can see the pith running right through here. All right.
Did you glue the bark on again?
There was no bark.
So you took bark from something else and glued it on?
No, I just made up my own bondo.
Why do I have to ask?
Yeah.
His bark stays on.
Okay.
I said his bark stays on.
Yeah, I know.
All right. All right, I picked up a couple of branches. I made 2 or 3 of them. Never sold one. And then I thought, well, maybe a little different. So I glued some pieces of plywood together to make this one. And if you look, you can see what it's plywood. It come out interesting, but it is just plywood. And it's the same effect, same thing. You stick it on this way, cut the foot, turn it around, and finish the inside. And so that's just some cheap plywood glued together. Made up some bark around the outside.
Drill a hole through the one side, it's an incense burner then.
Yeah, could be, whatever you want.
Then they would have sold.
Yeah.
He's only gonna get this, he's turning it. Because when you go look in the inside, but you're not, right here.
I've done plenty of these shit, it's easy.
Why don't you come down with that?
No, that's quite all right. But no, it's not that bad. But you get scared, it can be,
Somebody,
you just gotta be careful.
Be careful. Yeah, you're right. That's pretty thin. So it's going around, it's just going real lightly, so.
Yeah, you just slowly, cause yeah, you can easily get a cat and snap, especially with, you got bark and you want to sheep that bark. You gotta kind of measure how you're going in there, cause, don't ask me how I know.
Okay, as long as we're working with the plywood, here's something else you can do. It's a box, and it's got a magnet in it, so it locks itself up. And it's really only a little rod, and you get a piece of copper tube from Ace Hardware, and the brass rod from Ace Hardware. You have to buy a foot of it. And then you drill a hole, stick that in there, and that's it, you're done. Little earth magnet in there, but don't pick it up by the top, you know, grab it from the bottom, but that's how that works. Oh, in the top, I put this black and orange line in there. All right, inlay. The way I inlay is I cut the groove. All right, I cut the groove, then I put some dye or some powder color in the Bondo, made it get black. Butter that up, that dries in 5 minutes, hit it with some sandpaper, then I take the tip of the skew and put a line right in the middle and color that one orange. Same process, and then I've got that line going around. Quick and easy. I like those. Those are really, you can make them any shape. You can make them perfectly round or oval them or a ball shape. You can do it a lot of different ways.
They're perfect for salt in your
Yeah,
kitchen.
that's what it come from. They were a
Yeah.
salt
Salt box.
box.
finish inside?
No.
No, not finish inside.
No, you keep your good sea salt, your top finishing
Yeah.
salt in there.
Baltic birch
Regular
gives you a
salt.
lot of layers and you get designs
If
there.
you're a peasant.
you know, never up this morning, isn't it?
Yeah.
Actually, my son
Yeah.
bought me one for my birthday. Cause I wanted a new pepper grinder, I'm not willing to make one, so. Years ago, my daughter bought me a pepper grinder book, and all the parts, I can't find any of the parts. They got put in a box and donated.
Okay,
somewhere.
here's another,
Yeah,
I think it's a piece of pine
My daughter wanted one.
box I made. You get some male and female plumbing pipe, cut most of it away, just save the threaded ends, and then you can screw it together. A lot, they call it Home Depot ivory. But it gives you a box that you can screw together without going through a big deal of trying to cut threads and stuff.
I've used two. And that one I had, the big one I had to make my own rod, because it's longer than mine.
yeah. Out of all of them on the table, Bill, what's your favorite?
I like that,
Red.
yeah, I like that when it goes like that. Come out really well. I did it, 2 or 3 of them. Different spigots in the top, and I color them different so they come out totally different a little bit. Here's one that confused a lot of people with the dovetails. Well, you take 3 pieces of wood, put some brown paper on it, and turn it, cut your inside, pretty big hole in the top, And then where the brown paper was, you take a chisel and split it, throw the center away. Put it back together, you got an oval. Okay, and then sometimes I just sand them a little bit and put a finish on them. This one I went a little different. I put some Bondo on here, left it a little heavy, and it cuts real quick with a little piece of 80 wrapped around a popsicle stick, and you're done. If you ever done your nails with an emery cloth, you're a natural at this one. Okay, then I put a copper paint on it, and I mix up some, when copper gets old, it turns, so I mix that color up too. And that's how that goes. But every year they ask me, how'd you get the dovetails?
Don't
Yeah.
give away your secrets.
I do, I always do. But like I say, age is working with me now and I'm forgetting this. So it's becoming more interesting.
Every day it's a new idea.
Yeah, no idea.
Adventure.
Watching them old movies again. Yeah.
It's every day it's a new life.
Right.
Here's another one. Just to be a funny guy, make something that people say, how the hell did you turn that? You know. But it's the same thing. It's all just turned and put together, and a little bit of carving on this. Made the piece of candy. The whole thing. Nothing.
So it's not real chocolate.
Right, it's Trump Lloyd.
Oh.
So. And when I was doing shows, there's a letter opener, which nobody has anymore. You don't need a letter opener for email. So little by little, I'm being phased out of this business. And when they first were putting these on the table to sell, they were called bracelets. If you had you're hooking a bracelet, you put it in here, hold it, and then hook the other end. No, they're roach clips, you know.
Fancy.
What is that?
You couldn't sell them for that, so, but that's what I was making them for.
Well, he made it perfect, he cut out the middle through.
You can buy the clip from, what was that, one magazine, with all the turning stuff in it. They sell them in there. They're nice. It's a rosewood letter opener.
We could make a candle stand out of it.
Is pilot still like this?
Depending on what kind you buy.
Right,
Some of it
A little bit
is
smaller,
wired.
interesting.
right.
There's
More
probably
chocolate.
an old piece, most of it is like MDF and stuff.
Or you could use it as a base.
You know, it's not,
Unless you get birch bark.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Baltic birch.
Well, we got Baltic bird.
Yeah, that's my favorite for turning, because you get all the stripes. You don't get any weights, it's all birch.
It's beautiful.
Plywood.
It's not low, it's not.
Here's one I did
Construction wise.
years and years ago, and people accuse me of carving. No, I don't carve, unless I have to. But I made 3 bowls, little bowls. Laid down a bunch of clay, children's clay. Don't buy modeling clay. They charge big bucks for that. You buy the pink and the orange and the green stuff that they sell for kids. That's the same thing. You make a layer of that clay, you put your balls in them upside down so they're like this. So you get this part of it. Then you take a stick or a piece of wire and you draw your lines in the clay, going all the way around. Then you build a little wall going around this, so it's like a dam. Then you put your fiberglass and your resin, and you pat it in there, a lot of resin, and it'll be like 3 balls sticking up here. And let that dry a day. Then you put some cardboard on here, and you put some more resin and fiberglass on this. And you sand it all smooth, and you got a bowl. And you put a finish on it that makes it look like some kind of wood. And you can usually fool most people.
So the turning is just the bowls that uses the mold.
It's a mold. But,
Alcohol.
it looks like wood when you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, resin, and
Not gonna blow away.
you get a lot of resin and stuff that weighs after a while. And the rest is just hand painting it.
See, it's two pieces.
Yeah.
Is that the alcohol stain?
To hold it for something?
Yeah. Yeah, the alcoholic stain,
Where do you get alcohol stain at?
what's the name of that place? Mohawk. Mohawk, they're in the internet now. They used to send catalogs out, but everybody's on the internet now. Or whatever it's called. I don't get on that too much, right? I need something, I tell my daughter or wife to find it for me. But they'll call it NGR stain. And you get it in different colors, walnut, maple, whatever you want. Or even, they'll have it in red, yellow, and blue.
Yeah.
You can throw that stuff over. Everybody's seen these apple boxes. I must have made 75 or 80 of them. I give them out to all my doctors, and they remember you a little bit anyway. You see them every 3 months, and they say, "Oh yeah, the guy with the apple."
An apple day keeps the doctor away, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Now here's one I made, and I turned it, took the middle out, put it back together, and I don't remember how I got it off center. So that's a mystery.
That was very good.
You figured it out.
So somebody figure it out.
These are nice, and these sold fairly well. And it's all out of scrap wood. Everything you throw on the floor. Glue it back together, and you make these little guys up. You get about 25, 30 bucks a pop for them. I have little birds I put on them. I don't put them on until I sell them. Little hot glue. And my daughter goes through my stuff now and gives them out as gifts to different people. But here's a latest one I did for last Christmas. The finial got broke, so I just made a foot for it. It's kind of a nice shape, nice look. But these make nice presents, even without the birds on them. Put that around. And then if you want to get a little more, make it a little better, you can do these. Now I've made these this tall. And the trick in that is you start out with a 3/8 dowel rod. You know, why start out with a piece of wood and try and whittle that down? Then you stick it through the lathe. So it's coming out this end. Then when you're working on it, you got a small rest in it. You're only working on about 1 inch. Then when that gets done, you move that out, tighten down the chuck again, and you take this out, and you just let it rest in the hole. Once you get this long, you know, you're still working over here, but now it's like this over here. And another thing you can do is you can take a 2x4, put a piece on the bottom, another like a T, clamp it to your vise right about here with a little hole in it, a little slide screw. And you can make them as long as you want to go. You know, you just, a little parting tool, a little bit of sandpaper, and you just keep moving them down. And you can get pretty small with the finials.
I thought you were gonna tell us there was a steel rod in there and you put Bondo on the outside.
I've done
That's a
that.
lot of sand.
Yeah, I've done that, but here's another, just to cut some scrap wood off the floor, a little finial to go with it. You can make small finials like that. Little gold paint. It's pretty all.
Yeah.
I don't know, Sam Chuck.
I have made,
Yeah.
I've made canes for people. Not this size, but like just a normal cane. And I've took some 3/8 rod, cut it and weld it, and then laminate wood to it. Make a channel in the wood and epoxy it in. Because when you get somebody 200 pounds or so leaning on that, who has to lean on it, they'll break that son eventually. If it's a nice looking cane and they want it, they're buying it for looks instead of what it's for. Now this is the cane I like to make now, because this ain't gonna break. There again, it's the Baltic birch. You know, anybody who wants to learn how to make these, I'll be doing a seminar at Rockler's next Thursday, this coming Thursday at 6 o'clock. Tell them you want to join the club and you get to go in free. It's
The 14th?
Hickory Hills, Thursday. This coming Thursday.
The 14th.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, son, the guy don't wear a watch. Come on.
Oh, it's right, it's their meeting at Rocker, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
All right.
And he's a demonstrator because he's
Yeah.
also a member of that same club as I am, and so is Big Bob. And Ray Luppick and a bunch of us.
Like these are fun to make and they're easy. A simple piece of wood. There again, this is some of that aniline alcohol dye. You put on one coat, it's one color. You put on two, you just hit it again the same, just like once, twice, 3 times. The more you do, the darker it gets. Eventually, all their colors pretty much turn black. It's aniline dyes. They sell it to cabinet makers. The guy's got a whole line of cabinets. Even if they're all the same species, the wood's gonna come out different. You use aniline dye, it all looks like it came off the same tree, exactly the same size, exactly the same color. So, but you can use it to do other things. This is aniline dye, and there again, it's fun to do it because you don't know how it was held, and it's when this thing's spinning around, it's kind of tricky to do. Now, Rockler was selling, and they still are, some big pieces of maple, but it got a little quilting in some of it. It was a pretty good deal. So you buy this big round piece of maple, maybe an inch bigger than what we got here. So the first thing you do is you glue a block of cheap plywood on this side and on this side. Just a square, and you screw to that, so it goes on the lathe. Now, you come in this way, and you slice off this front. Then you come in this way, and you go to here, to this line. Then you come in again this way, and you slice off the back. Now, you've got it on the, you take this all off, you've got it mounted to the lathe this way, you clean up that inside, you glue on the rim again. Once that's dry, you clean that up with your tools. Then you take it off the lathe and you put the other side on and you clean that up. And you put your sandwich back together. That, once you have it all back and glued tight, then you run the outside again to get everything nice and straight and smooth. You cut your hole, of course, from whatever. To hide the joints, there again, you cut what's that about? That's a fat eighth or close to 3/16 line going around. You color up some Bondo, a little bit of powder and some black, and you put that on. And you just touch that with your blade or a little bit of sandpaper, and that gets completely flat again. Then you take the tip of your skew, and where that orange line is, you just make a little line going around. Same thing, you mix up some orange Bondo, put that in, and you have inlay. Quick and easy. Then you make one of those, I make a clamp. I did a thing here, I don't think anybody made any. I even gave some plans out how to make them where the 3 or 4 sides come in as you turn it, and it'll hold big pieces on the
Steady
lathe.
rest, steady rest.
They sell them now for about $300, but you can make one if you want.
I just made one.
Yeah,
I got 3 roller skate wheels for $5.
Yeah.
The bolts were maybe another $8,
yeah,
and all the plywood was in my garage.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So anyway, you grab it with the big thing, and you turn off your plywood you glued on, flip it around, do the same thing, little sanding, and you're done. And you sand it on the inside.
Would it work, gluing the plywood blocks on with paper, or would that not hold well enough?
It probably would work. It holds pretty well. But
Just
I
a
made them fat enough. You know, this was maybe a 1/16 or an 1/8 inch bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And when I took the plywood off, I was able to clean up the whole surface.
To allow for that,
Yeah, a little bit of a. And then actually, I turned the inside and made a frisbee, wooden frisbee out of it to kill you if you ever tried to catch it. You know? What am I gonna do with this middle? You know?
does it fly?
Yeah, you really gotta put into it though. You gotta go.
My dogs are fence about it.
Chew that up.
Of course, that lasts 5 minutes.
All right.
Some really special ones that are harder and industrial.
This one I did a long, long time ago. And it's the same idea. You take half of this, and that's a bowl. And this is and then you cut it in half, turn it around, and you drew edge to edge. This was the foot, and this was the foot.
Ah.
So now you got this shape, a little bit of sanding, a little bit of shaping, and you have something that isn't round. Some kind of a block I put on the bottom just to hold it up. This is pretty old, and it was worn down pretty good. I gave it a quick coat of lacquer this morning in the inside to clean it up a little bit. But if for taking cheap wood or poplar or piece of pine or something, pine's hard to turn, but poplar's a little better. And you don't have a lot of beautiful grain or something, it works out well. You know, you can do. And sometimes just a painted surface, just a white or a red or yellow bowl can be an attractive piece. But this is old, but you can almost see it's kind of coming. there's a line right in here, you can almost see it now. It may come apart in another 20 years. Alright, this is my piece for tonight. I brought with because I just made it. Like I said, it's 36 pieces of MDF. I spent more time gluing it back together than buying a piece of wood. So, when I glue, make a sheet, and I cut it out, make a donut on the bandsaw, and I cut right through the donut. I don't worry about starting in the middle or not having a cut, because I'm going to patch anything that's aligned. There's 5 or 6 lines that are going like this around this thing. You can patch it up. You're going to paint it. What difference does it make? You know. Then you make the 2 bowls, and then you glue them together, and you've got screw holes going into here where your faceplate was on. There again, it don't matter. You're taking the screws out, you're patching it up, and you're painting it. Saves a lot of time. You're turning it like that. You got your inside done, it's glued together. You turn the outside, then it's just a ply of a lot of paint. The finial probably took as much time as the turning of the outside. You put a block of wood on, you put an indexing, take a piece of paper and index it using a protractor to get a, I don't know, 40 or 50 lines going around. And then you run a piece of plywood, a piece of wood up against the edge like this, kind of shape it to this side, with a dowel rod on it that fits in your tool rest. Your paper's glued on here with the lines on it. So you go to one line, you make a mark here and here. Then you rotate this till it comes to the next line. And you mark it all the way around, on the bottom and on the top. Then you take a plastic card, and you connect the lines. And you skip a line, so you start out with the line over here, but then you skip 2 lines and you go to this one. Same thing, next one. Skip 2 lines, so you get diagonals. Okay. You know. And the layouts will work. Now it's on the drill, on the lathe. You drill 5/16 hole here, 1/4 inch hole here, 5/16 hole here, here. And you draw a line going around on both top and bottom, and you drill these holes. Then you got a little Dremel saw I bought from Harbor Freight. It'll cut your arm off if you're not working. It's really, and they sell these little blades. They look like the size of a quarter. They go on the end, and this thing screams. It's got 6 speeds. You very seldom get past 3. And while it's being held in the chuck, you cut on your line. And you just do both sides, both sides, both sides. And eventually you get where it falls out. Then, this bottom isn't on. You got a big enough hole in here where you can come inside with an Allen wrench that you've resharpened and put in a broomstick handle that'll clean up that inside. And it's kind of nice because as this is spinning, it's throwing the garbage out. But you can't be too aggressive with it. You gotta just clean up what you want. Then the rest is some sandpaper and make a little belt and go back and forth with it. But they're not hard to make. Then you glue this bottom piece on. So you worked on a big hole about that size. Now you've glued this bottom on to cover it up. The bob trick of spraying on the glitter in the lacquer it didn't work for me that well. So I put some of that glitter stuff, the real fine powder, I put it in shellac, sprayed it black, and then a little art brush and some shellac and just brushed it on. It came out fairly well, I think. You can do all different kinds of finials on it, turn it into that, you know, whatever you're going for. But my wife liked this one, and because she has no degree in art or any background in it, I listened to her. Yeah. Okay. These are some shapes I like. This was a contest that one club was running, make a box. I was the only one there that had a box made out of stone. Everybody else got the traditional little wooden boxes and stuff. So there again, you got some plumbing parts I picked up, cut off the long pipes. This is out of a toilet or something. And a nut that goes on the bottom. So you can have your threads. The stone is just some pieces of 2x6. You cut a rough shape. I might have put these on the lathe to cut these inside holes. I don't know. Maybe I did. And then I knocked off the corners, maybe on the lathe. And then the rest is on the big belt sander, 80 grit. You're just humming it off, you know, little hand sanding. Then the rest is you paint it with a good white primer. So you got something that's gonna grab. Sherwin-Williams has one that it's called stick. It means it sticks to anything. And I've had really good luck with that. You don't want your stuff chipping off down the road. So I paint it white. Then you take your spray gun and you cut the air down. Normally it cuts about 40 or 50 pounds of pressure. You cut it down to about 6. And your gun will spit and be a terrible finish. But it's perfect for this. You put black in there and spit the black on. You get too much black, put some white in there, spit some more white dots on it, and you get a granite look. So that's a nice way to make stones.
What'd you do with the rest of the pipe?
I got a box of them. Someday we'll have a big thing in there. Okay,
Make it a Blue Man Group horn.
here's a couple of shapes I've made that I like. And I'll have my daughter, who's got a pretty good eye for some of this stuff. She'll put a couple of artificial flowers in here for a centerpiece. But here's a nice, just a nice, clean, straight shape. You know, you don't have to mess with a bowl or anything. Got a little fancy business on top. I don't know if this is 2 pieces or not, but I like it. When you get tired of making bowls, you make this stuff. And this here again, this is shouldn't be handled that much because this is just spray can paint, and it's not going to hold up if you keep grabbing it. Just like a car finish is one of the toughest finishes going, but if the car gets old enough, you're using the door handles, you'll wear it off a little. Okay, this there again, this with a single flower or 2 flowers in it. Another thing I was gonna bring, but I just couldn't bring everything. I make these little old-fashioned cannons. And then they're real easy to make. They're big, fat, round cannons about this big. And my daughter gets a bunch of little flowers, and like a bouquet of flowers just exploding out at the front end. So you got the war piece and the peace piece going at the same time. Make real nice gifts. I've given them out to a couple of doctors, and they like them. But the idea is to go do different things. Don't get stuck making the thinnest bowl possible. Cause there's only a few turners that are really gonna appreciate it, you know. Everybody else will care. I brought these bottle stoppers here because I promised to give one to Sherry, because she's always bringing donuts and stuff, my favorite food. But she didn't show up tonight, but they're here. There again, I tried to make them all.
I'm in a meeting right now. Can you
different.
call me back?
It's all scrap wood laying around. If it doesn't come out well, I'll paint it. You know, people have different colored kitchens and dining rooms, so they sell pretty good.
Are there rubber inserts that,
Yeah, these are some kind of, I don't know what they are, nylon or something, but they come off for cleaning. And these are the only ones that'll hold up. I've even had champagne laying down overnight in the fridge and it won't leak. It's the only one that'll do that. I don't drink too much champagne, but I know they do. But,
Can I ask you what kind of chuck you use, to turn something small? Like on your lathe, what kind of chuck do you use?
oh, I use the regular, like that chuck. Only the one that goes down real small, the one that goes to about an inch. I've got about
Like
four.
the pin,
Yeah, I've got about 4 chucks. I don't change the place. I just change chucks. And then I got a bar, a steel bar, that's a 1/2 inch diameter. I stick that in there. I stick that in, and then I put a wooden washer on this size here, this inside. So when I get down to that wooden washer, I'm the right size. So this thickness here is a steel bar sticking out with a wooden washer on it. Put my block of wood on, cut to that washer, and then finish it off. And you can make them, I do about 10 minutes. Turn bottom, done. Yes. More time in the glue up. So that's what this is all about, design, and seeing something and reproducing it. And this one, Graffin makes a nice one. I like mine better.
they're beautiful.
You know, makes the game interesting because they go off in different directions. You can get somebody to play with you. Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.